Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem.
Houston, we got no problem today. We're going to learn about the explodey volcanoes. They're called the composite or stratovolcanoes. Let's take a look at a mountain erupting. Where do we find stratovolcanoes? Look at the map. They're mostly on the Ring of Fire, right? They're at converging plate boundaries. Actually, when we say converging plate boundaries, we really mean converging ocean or ocean continent. You don't see these, by the way, on continent converging plate boundaries. These are the most dramatic. These are the ones that make the news. So how do you know if one's about to erupt? Well, the good news is that when one's about to erupt, we start to know things are happening. There's something called a harmonics. So when you know that the harmonics, there's like it's kind of the sound that the volcano is making, coupled with lots of earthquakes, we'd call them cluster earthquakes. Then you know it's imminent. You saw that really in the video that you watched about Mount St. Helens. There was the harmonics, the cluster earthquakes. Actually, from Mount St. Helens, they learned so much about these, and we can now predict with some certainty that something's about to happen that's going to be exciting. So if one's about to go and you happen to live close to it, the geologists are going to know that it's time to get out of Dodge. And you're going to have, like in Mount St. Helens, was it like about a month, maybe 6 weeks before, the excitement really happened. So you have some time, but you still have to listen to the geologists, right? What causes them to erupt explosively? So let's now deal with this. We've sort of these are explodey volcanoes, right? Why erupt? Or what causes them to erupt explosively, right? The big thing, frankly, is that in the rocks themselves, there's a mineral called a hydrate. Now, I'm going to get real chemistry on you for a moment. There are a lot of chemicals that have water built into the mineral structure. So, for example, there's this one called CuSO4. This is not one that's necessarily in an earthquake or in a volcano, but it's .5H2O. We had some in the back room in our lab, and this is often used in a chemistry experiment. But there's lots of chemicals that have this extra water. So, built into the structure of the mineral is water, and if you heat this up enough, the water leaves the copper sulfate, that's what this is. It leaves the copper sulfate, and now you've got water. But now you've got water, and it's under great pressure, because remember, it's underneath the earth, possibly crazy deep under the earth. And as it rises, the water goes from water liquid to water gas. And again, you may not know this or recall this from chemistry land, but if this has a volume of 1 gallon, or let's say 1 gallon of liquid water, it will turn into 10,000 gallons of gas. Now, what that means is it's going to expand rapidly and put great pressure upon the rock structure, right? You've got this volcano, and you've got the magma chamber, and it's trying to get its business up here. And as the gas puts huge amounts of pressure. I mean, this is how bombs work. We get lots of gas produced, and then it expands rapidly, and then it blows a bomb up. That's how bombs actually work. Then the pressure goes up as the gas happens. If you recall back to a previous video, we talked about it. There's high percentage of gas. We're high, like 4 or 5%, but that's enough to make this water, this pressure comes here, 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 and then at some point there's going to be a weakness in the rock, and then the whole side of the mountain might blow out, or the top, or whatever it might be. And that's what causes them to erupt. Is really the primary thing is these gases. Now, you also have the more viscous lava, which means it's harder for it to get, so the pressure builds, and boom. And you hope you're not close to it when it happens, because, I mean, we all know this is super cool. And we also know it's super scary if you happen to be the guy on the mountain on that day. But it's awesome. I mean, if you think about this, the power of this earth to unleash untold destruction, it's really unbelievable. And you know, it speaks to just the power of, you know, as we here at Houston Christian, we think the power of God and the stuff that He can do. And He's created this world with its crazy, awesome plate tectonics, and, you know, we got volcanoes and earthquakes. And we think of them as just, you know, always natural disasters, but they're also a sight to see of the power. There's so much power involved. Houston, what causes shield or composite volcanoes to erupt? I don't think we have a problem. We'll see you in class.